Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation is being offered by Reverend Matthew Kelly, pastor of Arlington United Methodist Church, and he is the guest of Council Member Brady Banks.
I apologize, I thought we were having the pledge first. Friends, let us pray together. Almighty God, we come together tonight knowing you by many names, understanding you in many different ways, and yet here tonight in the same purpose of serving and leading our community. God, tonight we give you thanks and pray special blessing on Mayor Dean, Vice Mayor Neighbors, on Megan Berry, on Ronnie Stein, on Tim Garrett, on Charlie Tygard, and Jerry Maynor. We give you thanks and pray special blessings on Lionel Matthews, on Frank Harrison, on Walter Hunt, on Brady Banks, on Davis Scott, on Peter Westholm, on Anthony Davis and Karen Bennett, and Bill Pridemore, Doug Perdue, and Darren Jernigan, on Steve Glover, Josh Seitz, Bruce Stanley, Phil Claiborne, Tony Tenpenny, on Sandra Moore, on Berkeley Allen, on Erica Gilmore, on Buddy Baker, on Edith Langster, on Sherry Weiner, on Emily Evans, on Jason Holloman, on Sean McGuire, on Chris Harmon, on David Blaylock, on Dwayne Dominy, on Karen Johnson, on Jason Potts, on Fabia Bedney, on Jacobia Dowell, on Robert Duvall, on Carter Todd, and on Bo Mitchell. Give them wisdom and guidance in their deliberations tonight. Pour your wisdom and strength on Governor Haslam and the leaders in our legislature, on President Obama and our leaders in Congress, particularly during this time of national crisis, that they may see through their differences and work together for the betterment of our nation. Over all of our citizens, both powerful and those whose names we don't know. We invoke your blessings tonight, God. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'll notice there is a letter on your desk with the notice that there is another vacancy on the Community Education Commission. Nominations need to be filed no later than October the 29th, and we will consider them in our meeting on November the 5th. Tonight we have the appointment or reappointment of Mr. Bernard Pickney to the Community Education Commission for a term expiring October 1, 2016. Council Member Stites. Was anyone else in the Rules Committee? Councilman Stein? Wait just a second. Everything's... Councilmember Stein.
The Rules Committee unanimously recommended the election of Mr. Pinkney.
We have a motion.
Oh, and I would move his election.
And we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Mr. Pickney, are you in the gala? Congratulations on behalf of the entire Metropolitan Council. Next, we're at resolutions on public hearing. We have RS 2013-870 exempts China College Cafe located at 1795 Gallatin Pike North from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit. Councilmember Purdue.
Yes, ma'am. Open the public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing none on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Purdue.
I'd like to move the bill, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at the items on our consent agenda. The ones that are on our consent agenda tonight are 874, 875, 876, and 877. I will read those. We have pulled off of the consent agenda 870, 871, 872, 873, and 878. I will read the four remaining ones on the consent agenda, and you can tell me if any of those need to be pulled as well. RS 2013-874 approves a sole source contract with Microsoft for software support and maintenance for the Department of Information Technology Services. 875 approves an application for a state recycling rebate grant for the Department of Public Works. 876 authorizes DTG Tennessee Management, LLC, Betty Page to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 400 Broadway, and 877 authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the property damage claim of Gerdau Company against Metro Government in the amount of $45,545.08. Do any of these need to be pulled? Seeing none, I need report from Councilman Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 874, 875, and 877, 11-4, none against.
Thank you. Councilman Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved 876, 9-0.
Councilmember Dominy.
Public Works Committee approved 875, 5-0, and 876, 5-0 also.
Thank you. Councilmember Stites.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now going to take, if there is no objection, we're going to take 871 and 872 together for purposes of withdrawing. 871 approved an initial resolution to issue general obligation bonds in a principal amount not to exceed $200 million. 872 authorizes the execution, issuance, and sale of taxable general obligation pension bonds in the amount not to exceed $200 million. Councilmember Stein.
Committee report.
Be you.
It didn't. Oh, I apologize. I thought it went to Councilman Pardue's committee as well, the 872. Budget and Finance voted 8-4, none against to withdraw both 871, 872, and I move their withdrawal.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is RS 2013-873, authorizes the Metropolitan Government to impose an additional fee on the sales price of certain goods and services within the downtown central business improvement district. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I want to move the bill as amended and I need to get committee reports, excuse me.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved as substituted, 10-4, 1 not voting.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you. I would like to move the amended bill, and I also would like for John to offer an explanation.
You're moving the substitute.
That's right, the substitute.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the substitute. Mr. Cooper.
The substitute incorporates the language from the state law that clarifies that these funds received from this new fee could not be used to incentivize a convention that might otherwise consider another convention center in Nashville, such as the Gaylord Opryland Hotel.
Thank you. And could you also explain the Central Business Improvement District?
The Central Business Improvement District is approximately 90-block area of downtown that the Central Business Improvement District has been in place for a number of years. It was requires petition of the property owners to have the district created. They do pay an extra assessment that is used for additional security and cleaning and other functions within the downtown area, but it's just the immediate downtown area. It does not extend further.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cooper. I appreciate that. I move for approval with a brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second on the substitute. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just kind of wanted to reiterate what Mr. Cooper shared. I think that that's important, that the Central Business Improvement District is a group of merchants and residents downtown that established some time ago that they would impose an extra assessment upon themselves for keeping it extra clean, safe. You see the flowers downtown. You see men riding around, a part of that clean and safe. So this is something that they wanted to do. And then the merchants came together once again and said that they wanted to assess a fee to themselves so that they could help with the promotion of the convention center, since they feel like they're the biggest beneficiaries of this. And so it's kind of a marketing fund of sorts. So with that, I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second on the substitute. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. We're now back to the bill as substituted.
All right, thank you. I'd like to move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Councilmember Stein.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate what the lead sponsor said. Keep in mind, this fee is 1/4 of 1 cent. It is originated with the folks in the CBID. They led the charge to get this passed at the state, and they have led, obviously, the effort to get this passed with us tonight. There were numerous meetings with folks in the district, and it's been widely publicized. This fee, contrary to a few folks' belief, doesn't go to pay for the Music City Center. It goes into a fund to bring business to our community in the broadest sense. It'll be used to recruit these kinds of businesses, these kinds of conventions, in an environment where other cities like Atlanta, Indianapolis, and others have already instigated this kind of funding and fund. So there was some discussion about whether or not there was opposition to this. I would say that it's been my experience that the folks that are downtown and do business there have never ever been shy about letting us know what they think about an issue. And the fact that we have heard from so very many in favor and so very few, if any, in opposition, I think gives great credibility to this. A number of them are going to assume this themselves, but no one should be misled, because that quarter penny in many businesses on the goods that it covers will be passed on to consumers. There's a set of exemptions that are listed in our analysis of things that it doesn't cover, and I would like to support Councilmember Gilmore's motion.
Councilmember Dominic.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to support this too. At the present time, I'm not comfortable with it. We had some questions yesterday at our committee meetings where we've been asked to do our work about who's been notified of this, what was the process used to inform businesses that are impacted by this, including what businesses, in fact, are going to be impacted by this proposal. And I was told they couldn't provide that to me. I've had discussions with them today. I'm not quite there yet. I would like to ask John, when would this fee or tax be implemented in the event it was passed tonight or a month from now or whatever the case may be?
I believe it's January 1st, 2014.
Given the fact that it will not be passed until January of 2014, it would not be implemented, I would ask for a one-meeting deferral so we can get the rest of the questions answered regarding who's been notified, how the process has taken place, have the residents that will be impacted by this been informed of this prior to us voting on it.
We have a motion and a second. Please raise your hand if you want to speak on the deferral motion. All in favor of the deferral, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion to defer fails. Councilmember Hunt.
Madam President, call for the question, please.
We have a motion and a second on previous question. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Previous question passes. We're back on the original motion to approve RS 2013-873. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. Motion passes.
Machine vote, since it's a resolution.
We'll need a machine vote, sorry. It's a resolution. Has everyone voted? Madam Clerk, close the machines and tally the vote.
32 yes, 4 no, 0 abstentions.
Thank you. Motion passes. We're now on RS 2013-878, authorizes the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the lawsuit brought by Juana Villegas against Metro government for $490,000. Councilmember Stein.
The Budget and Finance Committee recommended approval 10-4, 1 not voting, and I would move approval with a brief comment.
We have a motion and a second. Councilman Stein.
Thank you. Obviously, this settlement is not without its controversy. I urge everyone on council that has not read the in-depth analysis to do so. This is difficult for everyone involved. It seems to be a settlement arrived at with the plaintiffs that our legal department strongly believes is in the best interest of the taxpayers of our county, and so I would urge everyone's support for this. Renew my motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Langster.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper, our employees that was involved in this, were they given any type of discipline, written or verbal notice or of any kind?
No, all of the employees were following department policy at the time, so there was no disciplinary action warranted based upon their following the policy.
Yes, sir, I understand. I questioned the sheriff about this. I had some very strong feelings about this piece of legislation and what was involved. The sheriff said without a doubt that he has changed his policy. His direction to his people, his employees, is much different if something like that were to happen today. And I believe that calmed me down quite a bit. And I want to thank him for bringing on a new policy in light of what has happened. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on introduction and first reading, or do any of those need to be pulled for consideration? Is there a motion for their approval? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of bills on first reading, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on second reading. The first one is BL 2013-526, approves an amendment to the Metro Code to authorize the establishment of an in-line of duty clinic. Council Member Stein.
Thank you. 526 was approved by the, I'm sorry, we need a committee report from Councilman Westerholm first. I'm sorry.
Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you. The Personnel Committee approved 2013-526, 6-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against, and I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Perdue.
Yes, ma'am, I have an amendment to this that I would have to request a suspension of the rules for.
Is there any objection to a suspension of the rules for consideration of an amendment? Seeing none, Councilmember Perdue.
I move to put it in. I'd like to read it in the record if it's possible. What?
It should be in your packet, too.
Right. On the desk.
I mean, okay, it's on the desk. It's not in the packet.
Well, in that case, I just move the bill.
Move the amendment.
Amendment, sorry.
Councilmember Garrett.
Madam Vice Mayor, John, would you just explain what it does, just for the public's notice?
The amendment adds a statement clarifying that anyone who is on a disability or service pension at the time this ordinance goes into effect, this would have no impact on them while they are receiving a pension. So it would just apply to active employees who are injured going forward.
We have a motion. Is there a second on the amendment? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion on the amendment passes. Back to Councilmember Stein.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Obviously, a lot of people have spent a lot of time on this proposal, and I thank both the legal department, the finance folks, and the folks from Concentra for spending so much time. This is obviously very important for several reasons. One, we know from our own experience and conversation over the last couple of years that IOD is a tremendous expense to our government. And in one instance, this should be viewed as a step forward to try to reduce some of those costs. At the same time, all of us in this room particularly care about our employees that we work with in this government. And there's every reason to believe that this contract with Concentra will go a long way towards helping those who have to take advantage of this. There is great history of this company working with the folks in Public Works, and they have gotten really good reviews. So I would renew my motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve as amended. We have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2013-527, approves a contract with Concentra for operation of the Metro Inline of Duty Medical Clinic. Councilmember Stein.
Committee report.
Councilmember Westerholm.
Personnel voted to approve, 6-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Maynard.
Health and Hospitals approved as amended, 7-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved, 11-4, none against, as amended. And I would move the bill, and there is an amendment.
You want to move the amendment first?
I would move the amendment. Madam Vice Mayor, the amendment actually repeals the amendment that we placed on at our last meeting. It has to do with X-ray services. We took that out of this agreement, and this will leave it in so that our employees that go to this clinic can avail themselves of those X-ray services.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Councilmember Mitchell, do you wish to speak on the amendment? All in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Amendment passes. Councilmember Stein.
I renew my motion on the bill as amended.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Mitchell.
Yeah, I was just wondering, are any of these services that we're contracting out, this may be a question for you, John, could General perform any of these services?
Yes.
So we're contracting it out. Do you know if the RFP, how many people bid on this?
There was no RFP since this was a professional services contract. It's a sole source.
What's the total amount on this contract?
It's about $900,000 during the first year, and then that would go down to $645,000 and $680,000 for the next 2 years.
So there's not other organizations that have the capability of doing this?
I'll let the legal director respond.
Okay. We took an in-depth look at what we can do about IOD expense in general. And general was actually an option we looked at. General at this point in time are not experts at occupational medicine, which is a critical component of what we were looking for. We would hope down the road we might be able to build that capability into general. The driver behind using Concentra was that we've had, as Councilman Stein pointed out, tremendous success with them over the last 5-6 years with our Public Works Department, which uses almost exclusively Concentra for its services. And so we know what we're getting with them. And that's, for starting something as new as this, we just felt that the best thing to do would be go with a known quantity because we want the best care for our employees, but at the same time trying to save money. So it was a difficult decision, but that's where we ended up. So that's the, hopefully that answered your question, but I'm happy to answer any other ones.
Yeah, I just say when we're dealing with almost $1 million worth of taxpayers' funds and we're doing this to save money, I can assure you an RFP process helps you save money. But if you know you're the only one bidding and it's hard to lose, you're not worrying about, sharpen your pencil in the least bit in this contract. So that's kind of, I'm skeptical when you're saying we're doing a sole source contract. Usually a sole source contract is there's only one provider that's capable of doing this service. And I'd say we're in a medical city in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm certain there's other organizations in this city and in this region that are capable of doing this. And I just question giving a sole source contract on something like this and not putting it out to RFP.
Councilmember Maynard.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to stand in support of this legislation. As you all know, General Hospital is my heart. I'm very passionate about it, and that I would never support any legislation that adversely impacts or affects General Hospital. And the reason why I support this is because I believe down the road that we will begin to use General Hospital after they have the capacity to provide the occupational health services that we need for our employees. So as the chairman of Health and Hospitals, and thank you, Vice Mayor, for this position, I have worked with the administration, I've worked with the legal department on those issues, making sure that right now we provide the best healthcare services for our employees while looking down the road to provide these services at General Hospital once they have the capacity to provide that service to our employees. So for those persons who are concerned about General Hospital, I want to reassure you that I'm supporting this legislation because this is good for General Hospital, and they will be working with Concentra in order to provide the services necessary for our employees, especially going down the road.
Councilmember Perdue.
Yes, ma'am. I was told General Hospital had nothing to do with this bill.
General Hospital directly does not have anything to do with it. Now, while, if you sprain your ankle, you could go to General Hospital and they could treat you. I mean, there are some occupational injuries that they would not have the capacity to deal with, but for most of your everyday injuries, they could. That does not mean that things that cannot be done at the clinic that could be treated at General, patients could be referred to General. So General may still get some Metro employees going there for IOD injuries, but General is not a party to the contract.
That's not the way it's been explained to me personally. I was told that you wouldn't be referred to General Hospital, that this doctor, whoever he is, going to be at Central, will not refer employees to General Hospital.
They will, the network, the IOD network, is a very large group of doctors, essentially the same as the Metro Employee Blue Cross Blue Shield program. Within that program is Metro General. You can go to Metro General if you want to. In fact, under the employee plan, if you go there, you wouldn't pay any deductible or copay under the existing program outside of the IOD component. So it's not a direct referral to General, but employees could go to General.
But it'd be his option.
Correct.
Thank you.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. A lot of the questions that are being asked have been gone over yesterday in committee meetings, budget as well as today in health and hospitals. I too have concerns about the manner in which we are providing this contract. as a sole source contract when clearly there are other sources that could have weighed in on this. And so I just want to make sure that all of my constituents here in the chamber know that I've asked Mr. Cooper to look at preparing a piece of legislation that would close the door that is open now. I mean, we're considering this tonight because not too long ago we passed legislation that said any contract that's issued over $500,000 has to be approved by us on a resolution reading. We are providing this particular provider this contract because they are considered providing a professional service. So there's nothing in the rules at this point in time that says someone who is providing a professional service has to, or all folks who could provide a professional service would have the ability to express their interest in a position or an opportunity that they might want to take care of. So I'm asking that we look toward legislation in the near future that would require not only contracts at the level of $500,000 or more to be considered by the council, but we also would look at services and make sure that all entities who have the ability to provide that service and who have the interest in providing that service have the opportunity to make those desires known and to at least weigh in with what their plan would be to provide that service. So as this comes forward, I would hope all of you would support me in that.
Councilmember Harrison.
Call the question.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of previous question, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Previous question passes. All in favor of the original motion on 527 as amended, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Without objection, we're going to take 2013-540 and 2013-541 together. 540 cancels .32 acres of the residential plan unit development overlay district located at Wedgwood Avenue unnumbered east of 12th Avenue South. 541 changes .32 acres from RM20 to RM20A zoning for property located at Wedgwood Avenue unnumbered east of 12th Avenue South. Councilmember Moore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm going to move for approval, and I have a brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Moore.
I just want to say we did have a meeting, community meeting about these particular PUD and the property that's affected with the neighbors. And so in discussing with the applicants and some of the neighbors, we did, talk about the parking and the trees. So, they're going to be okay about it. So, we did iron it out. So I just want to move for approval again.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say, I'm sorry, Councilman Hunt. I just didn't check.
Committee report.
Yes, Councilman Hunt.
Planning and Zoning Historic Committee approved 540 and 541, 9 and 0.
Thank you, Councilman Hunt. We have a motion and a second and a committee report. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-546 approves a lease agreement between the Metropolitan Government and the Christine B. Nell Living Trust for the building located at 339 21st Avenue North to be used for an injury on duty medical clinic. Councilmember Stein.
Committee report.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning Historic Committee approved 546, 9 and 0.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against, and I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please. Sorry, Councilman Mitchell.
Yeah, so is this the same Concentra contract as earlier?
Yes. This is where the IOD clinic will be housed that Concentra will operate.
How much are they paying for rent for this building?
Metro is paying approximately $100,000 a year.
All right. So we're giving them the building. All right. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2013-550, approves an amendment to the Metro Code pertaining to earnings while an employee is on in-line of duty injury leave and pension calculations. Councilmember Stein.
Committee report.
Councilmember Westerholm.
Personnel approved, 6-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against. I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-551 amends the Metro Code by adding the ability of zones to be created for horse-drawn carriages and by delegating duties to the staff of the Traffic and Parking Commission. Councilmember Perdue.
Public Safety passed this 4-0.
Councilmember Harrison.
Traffic and Parking approved 4-4 and 0 against.
Councilmember Perdue.
Move the bill, please.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-552 amends the Metro Code pertaining to the parking of motor vehicles for sale on commercial property. Councilmember Harmon.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Moore.
At the request of the sponsor, Vice Mayor, he decided to defer one meeting.
Thank you, Councilmember Harmon.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. In order to allow the committee to perfect this legislation, I would move for a one-meeting deferral.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of a one-meeting deferral, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-553 declares surplus and approves the disposition of a portion of McMurray Middle School property located at 520 McMurray Drive. Councilmember Blaylock.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning, Zoning, and Historical approved 553, 9 and 0.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against.
Councilmember Blaylock.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second.
Thank you.
All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-554 declares surplus and approves the disposition of the 2022 building located at 222 3rd Avenue North. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning, Zoning, and Historical.
Go ahead.
9-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore. I'm sorry, there are some issues right now.
All right, testing.
Try again.
Move for approval. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Mitchell.
John, do you know why we're getting rid of this building?
Right now, the building only has one department in it, which is Metro HR. It is in great need of repair, estimated to be approximately $20 million to bring it up to modern standards. And General Services and the Finance Department made a determination that it was in Metro's best financial interest to sell the property and lease office space as opposed to fixing up this building.
Okay, because I saw two bills down, we're about to lease office space, and I was wondering, why we're doing that if we've got a building. Thanks.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-555 approves a lease agreement between Metro Government and Parkway Towers, LLC for office space in Parkway Towers located at 404 James Robertson Parkway. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved 555, 9-4-0 against.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-556 approves a vacant property exchange with the Metro Nashville Airport Authority for the purpose of acquiring land for greenway and other recreational uses. Councilmember Stein.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved 556, 940 against.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against. I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Bedning.
Yes, I don't know if this is the time to ask, but we had discussed in the past about creating some kind of a land trust to provide land for future schools. And I wonder if this is, I'm out of tune here. I know, I apologize, but I wonder if this is something that we could explore more in this concept of trading land to accommodate for potential future land for some of the schools. Maybe this is not the time to.
Yeah, we can come back to that.
All right, I apologize.
We're on this piece of legislation right now.
Sorry about that.
It's probably something you could bring up with the Parks Committee Chair. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-557 approves an agreement among the Public Defender's Office, UCLA School of Law, and Gideon's Promise for a law school partnership project. Councilmember Stein.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Purdue.
Public Safety voted 4-0 to pass it.
Thank you, Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 8-4, none against, and I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-558 authorizes the Metro Arts Commission to accept the donation of a mosaic sculpture from Oasis Center. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you very much. Move for approval with a brief comment.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Councilmember Stein publicly. He did a lot of work on this. It was in my district, but we know that he's a lover of the arts and really did a lot of the legwork, and it's going to really be a great addition to the area once it's finished. So I just wanted to thank him for that, even though he allowed me to be the lead. So thank you so much. And move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. 2013-559 designates Lyle Avenue between West End Avenue and Division Street as Mario Ferrari Way. Councilmember Stein.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Dominy.
Public Works Committee approved 5-4 and 0 against.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget and Finance approved 11-4, none against. I move approval with a brief comment.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman Stein.
Thank you. I want to pass kudos back to Councilwoman Gilmore, who joins me in this, is in her district. It honors, obviously, Mario Ferrari, who is one of Nashville's great restaurateurs for many, many years. This is one of the honorary renamings of a street, so Lyle Avenue still remains Lyle Avenue. This is also outside of the 5 that the city pays for, so that the street signs will be privately paid for. But this is a nice honor for a man who was in business for about 40 years in this community with a series of restaurants, all in a concentric circle around Lyle Avenue, and I renew my motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Without objection, we'll take 2013-513 and 514 together. 513 changes 213.96 acres from MUG, CSCL, OR20, RS5, R6, OL, SP, RS10, and RS7.5 to MUGA, MULA, and OR20A, zoning for various properties and a portion of property located along Gallatin Avenue, Gallatin Pike, and Main Street between 5th Street and Briley Parkway. 514 applies the Gallatin Pike Urban Design Overlay to 213.96 acres of various properties located along Gallatin Avenue, Gallatin Pike, and Main Street between South 5th Street and Briley Parkway. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning historical approved 513, 514, 940 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Westerholm.
I believe there is a substitute to move.
Okay.
Yes.
I would move that substitute.
Go ahead.
And ask Mr. Cooper for a brief explanation.
Actually, Metro Planning would be best able to explain the differences in the substitute.
The substitute bill for 513 basically changes some of the zonings that were originally proposed in the bill to other zoning districts in response to the community input, and it also removes two properties, the firehouse on the north end of Gallatin and the U.S. Bank. The substitute bill for 514 is more substantive in nature. Originally, the proposed urban design overlay addressed signage only. Now, in response to community input, it is addressing providing more options in site design while preserving a pedestrian-friendly environment.
Is there a motion on the substitutes?
I move the substitute.
We have a motion and a second. Councilman Davis, do you want to speak on the substitute?
I've come forward in fully support of the substitute and amendments. Planning and my fellow East Nashville council members worked very hard alongside with the business community to come up with a compromise and a great solution. I do want to reiterate, we are still looking at incentives for people and businesses on the major corridors like Gallatin, Nolensville Road, and Murfreesboro Road. And we remain committed to the business community on the streets of Gallatin and Maine. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second on the substitutes. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Substitute passes. Councilmember Westerholm.
I'd like to move the bill as substituted with a brief comment.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Westerholm.
I'd like to reiterate the words of my colleague, Councilman Scott Davis, and also give an acknowledgement to Anthony Davis and Karen Bennett. They've all worked very hard, as has the staff of the planning department. I'm sure they've spent lots of nights and weekends at times putting things together, and I know that the community is very appreciative, and we are very appreciative of those efforts as well. And I believe that this plan is one that brings out the best interest that was originally reflected in the previously existing zoning, and yet allows for some of the, I guess, other interest and newer lessons we've learned to the table for this piece of legislation, and would just ask for everyone's support as we move forward in this bill.
We have a motion and a second on the bills as substituted. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-538 changes 6.83 acres from IR to IG zoning for property located at 44 Umahundra Place and 905 Bisco Drive. Councilmember Gilmore.
Vice Mayor, move for approval.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning, Zoning, Historical, approved 538, 940 against.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you. Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-539 changes .27 acres from R6 to SP zoning for property located at 1112 11th Avenue North to permit up to 6 residential dwelling units. Councilmember Gilmore.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved 539, 940 against.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-542 changes .76 acres from SP to SP for properties located at 906 Cheatham Place, 501 9th Avenue North and 9th Avenue North unnumbered, northwest of 9th Avenue North and Cheatham Place to permit up to 15 detached residential dwellings. Councilmember Gilmore.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved 542, 940 against.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval with a brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Gilmore.
Or I should say a brief comment. This area is really coming up, so we're excited that development is coming to this area, and we're counting on the developers to give us good, strong development for more catalysts and future development. So move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-544 amends the Metro Code relative to retiree medical benefits. Councilmember Stein.
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-545 establishes the Property Tax Relief Program for low-income elderly residents of metropolitan government for fiscal year 2013-2014. Councilmember Stein.
Move approval with a brief comment.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman Stein.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I just want to draw attention, because I think this is one of the things that this council is most proud of. This is our annual property tax release program for low-income elderly. Those persons qualify for the state property tax relief program and whose income doesn't exceed $27,800 annually. We are one of the few counties that supplements to the maximum degree. For us, it's $3,100,000 in our budget to apply to those folks in our community that are most in need of this relief. And I renew my motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-547 abandons 210 linear feet of an existing 8-inch public sewer main and easement and accepts approximately 212 linear feet of an 8-inch public sewer main and easement for property located at 4418 Leland Lane. Councilmember Dominy.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. With all committee reports in, I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-548 abandons 172 linear feet of an existing 12-inch public sewer main and easement, 190 linear feet of an existing 2-inch public water main and easement, and accepts 266 linear feet of a 12-inch public sewer main and easements for properties located at 0 and 32 McPherson Avenue. Councilmember Dominy.
All committee reports in, I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. 213-549 accepts permanent and temporary easement for the Flintlock Court Stormwater Improvement Project for properties located at 171 Bell Road, 2404 Raven Drive, 904 Flintlock Place, and 1009 Flintlock Court, and 1025 Flintlock Court. Councilmember Dominy.
While this is a lot closer to my district, all committee reports are in, and I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, please say aye.